Hey everyone, it's Natalie here. um, it's kind of a dreary, cold, miserable day here in St. Louis, and so I thought I would make a quick video. I'm at home working today. I just went for a job interview, actually, that went really, really well, which is great. To be a substitute teacher for a local district here where I live in St. Louis, so we'll see how that goes. I do love the classroom and I really love kids. So, with any luck at all, that should work out nicely. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. So, it'd be a nice addition to do that while I'm getting my business up and running and just as a way of like extra income and keeping the bills paid, which is important. But I really kind of wanted to make an update because I've been reflecting. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Because I've been doing this thinking about decks lately. I just went and did some work for my godmother yesterday, which was really beautiful. And I would easily have spent the day with her and done nothing but just help her with things and, you know, help her keep her house clean. All of those kinds of things. She just turned 80 this week, which is really exciting. And amazingly, I think because I'm in the process of starting up a new business and she knows that like finances have not been as fluid as they might have normally been, she chose to pay me for my work yesterday because I cleaned her house and I scrubbed her floors and stuff, and she just really, I think, felt good about that and felt really grateful. And she's always just been a total godmother in the truest sense of the word. She's, just a complete blessing in my life and always has been. So she gave me a nice check, a nice chunk of money. And of course, like usual, the first thing you think when you get money, like, whoa, what am I going to do with that? How do I spend it? Where do I put it? Do I save it? Do I put it towards something? And as I was thinking about that, it occurred to me that actually I probably don't need to spend it in the way that I initially wanted. Because in all honesty, the first thing I thought was, ooh, what deck can I get now and cross off my growing wish list? Well, as a Buddhist and as someone who built a tiny house and has just, I've just spent the month of January downsizing even further. I built the tiny house, moved into it, and then realized, okay, I've got all of this other crap that I need to get rid of because I can't keep it. And even though I then moved out of the tiny house and in with my partner, the ethic of having fewer things and of not accumulating a ton of belongings is still a value I really hold. So as I thought about it yesterday and thought, is there another deck that I want? And of course, it's impossible to watch somebody's unboxing videos without immediately thinking, oh my gosh, I really, really want that deck, or I really, really need that, whatever it is, fill in the blank. It did make me pause. And part of why I paused, and I think this is an important aspect in it, I made a video, an unboxing video that I haven't uploaded about working with the Marielle Tarot, and it was before I was working with it. It was just like literally like, hey, check it out. I ordered the Marielle Tarot. I'm going to unbox it. Got through it, and it was really damaged on the back, and it was also missing a Two of Swords, and the cards do tend to stick to each other. And so I really, after I finished the video, I even went through the deck and tried to see if maybe there was a chance it was stuck to the Ace of Swords somehow, and I just couldn't get it loose. And it just didn't have the Two of Swords. And I remember I was really disappointed with the quality of the cards. I was disappointed, really disappointed with Schiffer Publishing. It really made me angry on behalf of the consumer, but also, $40 for a deck is not cheap from, a large manufacturer. And it also upset me on behalf of the artist. I really was hoping to just be able to connect really deeply right away with that deck. I'd heard lots about it, and I really had not, checked it out for myself yet. And then, getting it, and I got it off of Amazon, so that may be in part why there was a problem. But getting it was really something I was anticipating. And it was funny. I went home Tuesday night to my mom and dad's house because I did a really cool panel at the university I just left, actually, with the chaplain and another two guests that was about Buddhism. And it was near my mom and dad's, and I was going to be going to my godmother's, who's also near my mom and dad's. So I stayed overnight there. Well, when I got there, amazingly, lo and behold, the new shipment of the Mariel Tarot had arrived. So I really eagerly just went ahead and opened it because I knew what to expect. And I've got to be honest, this is the deck I've been looking for. I couldn't believe it. They weren't damaged. The quality, I don't know, it seems like it was different somehow. I mean, there's still the really laminated, hyper laminated glossy cardstock. And they are edged in gold. They have a gilding on them. I have been sitting with these cards for the last 2 days, shuffling them, riffle shuffling and, shuffling them, overhanded. And I'm really amazed. I'm surprised. They did require a lot of unsticking, but once they were really unstuck and kind of, they're getting worn in and, through the handling process. And I really was just prepared to watch them be dented and damaged and so on. And I've been amazed that they're not. I'm really shocked and amazed that they're not. I was, I did not have very high expectations, to be honest, after opening that first deck. That said, the images, the language that, and the lens through, the language that she uses in the book and the lens through which she is viewing the tarot and coming to it through her artwork are exactly what I was looking for. And so as I sat with that and the feeling of how nice it is to feel deeply connected to a deck and a particular deck and a particular artist and their worldview, and then to look at all of the other decks that I have, and I guess as a tarot person, even though I'm just really coming back to it after a long break, to have a number of decks that are, at my disposal that I can use is really pretty amazing. And all of them cover some aspect of working with the tarot that feels important and it feels authentic. And more than that, what I'm finding is that the decks that I'm choosing are decks that I'm really able, it's less than a sort of like, ooh, I want to see what that is. And more coming from a place of, is this I'll watch everyone's unboxings and really examine the deck and examine the artist and author to decide, is this something I really want to work with? Or is this about accumulating or the thrill of something new? Because it is a thrill. Like every time I realize there's another deck in the mail or I've just bought one, the anticipation is there. It's really exciting. And honestly, it was so fascinating to me when I sat down last night and realized, oh, I don't need any more right now. I'm good. I'm really good. It feels really lovely. The decks that I have really connect me very deeply to what I would refer to as the other. And I probably will do a video about this, but when we're communicating, we can call it spirit, we can call it spirit guides, we could call it egregores, we could call it energies, But whatever it is that we're tapping into when we do work that's spiritual, or especially work that is psychic or divination, what is it that we're really getting in touch with, and how does it function? And I really don't know. I can go in a number of different directions, and I can tell you that at different moments in my life I've had a sense of what that is, or I thought, oh yeah, this is who that is, or the framework through which that exists. The older I get, the longer I live, the more I practice, the more I experience, the less convinced I am of anything. The less easily convinced I am of staying in one particular realm of ideas. And I think the more I begin to realize I just don't know. I just don't know. And it keeps my mind very open, and it keeps my willingness to experience something new very fresh and very open as well. And that's really exciting. It's really exciting. And it has changed so many things. But something that is always, familiar is coming back to a deck of cards and having that experience where you shuffle the deck, ask a question, hold an intention, or just have curiosity and just want to get to know, like, who's there, what's here, what's working with me right now, and having a dialogue open up. And I know when I'm working with a deck that's right, when it's almost as excited to talk to me as I am to talk to it. And it's not the deck, of course. It's just that there's something about it that offers, or about its creator, that offers a really good open conduit for that exchange to take place. And I'm finding that the decks that I'm actually getting and purchasing and trying to work with all seem to have some aspect of that happening. And it is, of course, in different flavors and different ways. And there are always the decks that really resonate right away, and through which, for some reason, that message it feels more like talking to your best friend than it does, to something out there or whatever, or even just something that's familiar or known. I don't even know if I'm making any sense at this point, but suffice it to say, from the first most recent acquisition, which was my, oh God, I'm in here, my gorgeous little tree spirit cards, which have been such a blessing to have. I'm so grateful to have these. The level of communication and the level of depth that I'm getting from these has that. It is that experience. It is the experience of coming home after a really long day, and even going beyond. My partner is amazing and offers me a lot of empathy and a lot of support. And of course, like another human being, as wonderful as they are, they're still human beings, and they still have a life. They're still living an earthly embodied experience that's their own. Being able to touch base with something that is not not immediately obvious. Sorry, I'm in the sunroom, and I thought, whoa, is there somebody standing right in my backyard? Because it sounds like someone's talking, but they're probably in the alleyway. Anyway, to be able to touch base with the observer, with the other, with the energies that have been around you and with you all day long, observing, helping, guiding, and have that dialogue, that touch point, and that feeling. I'm sure, if you're someone who reads, you know exactly what I mean. That feeling of being really seen, really understood, and being supported and given guidance that comes from a place that other people can't quite touch in the same way is that's what I get through this deck. And that was my hope. I really looked along. I didn't look long and hard. It kind of found me, and that often is the way that spiritual stuff in my life happens, is that it seems to just kind of jump out and find me. As soon as I put a thought out there, like, I think I'm interested in, this, that happens, and it's exciting. So I have that resonance with this deck, with my tree spirit deck. And I knew going in when I was looking for it, that was what I was looking for, was that level of connection. And amazingly, that's what I found it. When I went looking for other tarot decks, I just wanted to find tarot decks that I would resonate with. And I wanted to get as many different possible perspectives and viewpoints and artistic differences, within the artwork of the cards as I possibly could, so that I could deepen like an understanding, an overall understanding of the system of tarot and how it can function and what it can do for us and how it can shape us. I think that's the best way to put it. And when within that, sometimes I like to read for myself with tarot decks. I usually like to read for myself with oracle decks. I've recognized going back into working with tarot that actually I do want to read for myself with tarot decks as a way of continuing that process and deepening that understanding. And when I did come across the Mary L. Tarot and looked at the artwork, I'm sitting here shuffling, you can't see my hands. It just resonated with me in a way that I was hoping would be there, but it was bigger and deeper than I expected. And I'm so excited about working with this deck. Something that's funny about me is that, I realized this last night. I really thought I would be, as far as I'm concerned with, working as a Buddhist, especially like in Zen, a pack of cards is, it's a pack of cards, big deal. It's cardboard. It's pieces of cardboard. Is it a means of getting in touch with something? Sure. Do I need to do anything special to it because of that? Not so much. But I know that I've really connected with the deck and absolutely adopted it and decided that it is some kind of divine, communication device. When I go out and immediately I'm like, I have to get it a home. It needs a home. It needs a box. I've got to get it something. Or like with this Marielle, I did not want to put it back. It was not satisfying to put it back to bed at night in this box. And I went back through thinking like, what do I have? What can I wrap it in? What can I put it in that's special, that feels right? And I went back to my old box that I had housed all my old tarot decks in, and remembered I had these. So I had like an old, red silk scarf and a black silk bag, which really could not be more perfect for this. So I took the pack of cards, or the deck of cards that had been wrapped in it. I'll come back to that in a minute. And I immediately wrapped them up in there and bundled them. And I was hugging them. And I thought, it needs a crystal. I don't have a crystal for it. So I pulled out a basket that I have where I just put all my tumbled gemstones and stuff in, and found this one, which I don't know if you can see. Oops, here we go. And I can't remember what this is called, maybe fire jasper. I know it has pyrite in it. And again, somehow this one just felt perfect for putting in there. And I pulled 2 or 3 different ones out, including some obsidian and red jasper, and it was nope, this is the one. And so, I don't know, just the 3 of these together just felt right. And so I wrapped it up and took it to bed with me and put it under my pillow, which is, I haven't done that kind of shit since I was since I was in college, or, yeah, probably not since I was in college. So that's a really interesting thing to me, that was an instinct. I kind of joyfully watched myself doing those things and kind of thinking, that's so interesting. Where is that coming from? What is that? What's that about? I think it's really just about, in the same way that I don't feel okay leaving the house without my mala, which was given to me when I ordained as a layperson in Korean Buddhism. Before I was ever ordained or, as a monastic or anything, it's like a security blanket. It's a connection to that divine support, that thing that is the other, or that helps us tap something that's deep within ourselves and brings us to a greater place of security and authenticity and open-heartedness, And similarly, when I had my experiences over this last summer, with the Tara Mandala organization, and working with the Buddhists in the Tibetan tradition, it was so fascinating how that happened. And it's probably a story for another time, but I immediately felt such a powerful connection to working with the Dakinis, and it was really sacred, very powerful. And so I bought this from a seller on Etsy, and then pulled out all of my garnet that I had, garnet beads and some skull beads and so on, and made it a necklace, made a necklace for my Vajrayogini, and, found a chain to put my tree gug on, which is a symbol for the Dakinis and for Vajrayana practitioners who are very connected with Dakinis. It was just, and I I rarely take any of these off. I feel kind of naked and uncomfortable if I go out of the house without them anymore, because they remind me of that connection. So I guess all of that's to say that something opened up, something cracked open, something was touched in a really deep way that made me feel happier and more secure. And I really wanted to share that because it's so powerful when that happens. There was a deck housed in this, and I felt so interestingly nonplussed about that. It didn't, it's not that they're just like a deck of cardboard. I loved these cards. I still do. I work with them, but I never did really have that kind of powerful connection. It is a pip deck that I enjoyed working with. I always like to have a pip deck. I think it's a helpful thing. I'd love to talk about that more sometime, but not today. And it's this it's basically a Visconti Sforza, maybe just the Visconti Sforza. I don't know. I know that it's based on the Visconti Sforza. Very definitely, it's got this fool in it. I've always loved that fool. He's such a wild man. Something so raw about this guy. And I decided, this is how the cards came, and I just sort of thought, wait a minute, what if those were edged in black? Because there's this beautiful black border on it. And I guess I could cut the border off and have them be borderless, but I don't mind that border. They're so thin and slim anyway, and, very, very comfortable in my meat hooks. So, my vegetarian meat hooks, that I decided to just edge them in black. And I'm having fun with the whole, let's play modify a deck. And in fact, I was really ready to modify my Marielle Tarot deck until I got it in hand, and it's not saying modify me right now. Right now, it is just saying hold me, play with me, get to know me, get to understand me, let these images resonate deeply within your subconscious and let it bring stuff up. And I've recently started a dream journal again too, because working with tarot has brought back a very different quality to my dreaming at night, which I'm really relishing. It's beautiful. It's fascinating stuff. Not every single night, but definitely more and more. So I did want to share that. I've got some videos that I've already made, but I haven't uploaded. They may be out of order. I don't know what order they'll end up in, so it may be that I've already uploaded them. But I discovered the Mother Peace Tarot deck. I was in the store the other day, and I had been watching Lisa Mindful Tarot's videos about how to speak tarot, and I thought, wow, that's just so exciting. I love the way she's viewing this and the way she's putting it together. And she'd recommended, everyone should have the following decks. And I had plenty of the Marseille style decks that she was mentioning, and I didn't feel a real need to buy another one. But something I've always wanted, and especially recently, these particular 2 decks, I thought, I wonder if she's going to mention the Aquarian Tarot or the Morgan Greer. And sure enough, she said, everyone should look at either, or, the Aquarian Tarot or the Morgan Greer. And I was thrilled. And I thought, well, what a great excuse to go out and get 2 more decks that I've always really wanted and never got. And I think I remember that I didn't get the Aquarian Tarot because my best friend in college got it, and it was a really big deal that she got it, and she was the one that was really the tarot reader because it was in her family background and all of this. And I was just a newbie and a white kid that wanted to try learning, and I would have taken whatever direction or advice she gave me because I didn't know anything differently, and I was grateful for her advice and assistance. But this was her deck, and as far as she was concerned, like, that's it. This is my deck. You don't get to use this deck. This is how it goes. So I stayed away from it for it's been 24 years, I guess, 23 years. And I just thought, that's so stupid. I just hadn't looked at it. I mean, honestly, it's just not anything that I'd really even looked at. So I very, very happily went, okay, well, I'm just going to get one. That's, how much fun. And I've had so much fun looking at these cards and pulling them out and just, flipping through all of my Rider-Waite style decks just to look at the subtleties and nuances of differences. It's just been so rewarding and deepening of my appreciation of that system and of all of the different, artists and authors that have contributed. And then I did also go ahead and get a Morgan Greer. And I think I didn't get a Morgan Greer before, even though I really, really liked them. I don't know. I think I didn't know quite sure, I wasn't sure what to do with the backs of the cards. I don't know what it was, or I thought maybe it was kind of some weird, I don't know. I have no idea. But lately, when I see people talk about something in tarot and they pull out a Morgan Greer deck, I'm perpetually in a state of thinking, my God, that's a gorgeous deck. Why don't I have that deck? That 8 of Cups, I can't remember whose channel I was watching where they were really talking in depth about the 8 of Cups card. Maybe it was Tom Benjamin. It might have been Tom Benjamin. Anyway, I think he had this one in a Saucerabito card as well and was looking at differences. And anyway, it was beautiful. And just to get a copy of this deck and have it to read or play with, where did my Fool go? He never came out. There he is. Okay. Anyway, I always need to know where my Fool is because he's my guide. I love the Fool. He's always my guy and my guide. But yeah, just to have it and be able to flip through it and play with it, and yay, it just makes me so happy. So I went ahead and got those. And, these are they're so affordable. And I got them from a local business because, again, I like to, wherever I can, if they've got these decks, I like to buy them from locals because it's a good way to keep them employed, keep them working, keep them functioning, and so on. So yeah, three new ones. These 2, of course, they're so familiar and they're so beautifully made and beautifully drawn. That they're just kind of like a little bit of an accent. If you're thinking, tarot is a language, it's like learning a new accent. Not even a dialect, but just an accent. Different vowel sounds or something. So those have been delightful just to have for the different flavor, with the Rider Waite. And yeah, Mother Peace, and how much fun! So much fun. And I've been looking into going into all of the different suits with that much more depth and that much more focus. So I'm really excited to share just the new discoveries and the new information that I find. You really think you know something, and then, when you go back into it, it's so much fun to find that you don't know very much, or you don't know what you thought you knew, or what you knew was, it's outdated. Your own experience has somehow changed the way something looks or feels, or the way that it comes across. And I guess, the experience of going from being in my 20s and early 30s, working with tarot, to giving it up completely, and even offloading almost all of my decks, oracle decks and everything, to coming back to it and rediscovering it kind of like a kid, just with openness and curiosity and vulnerability, and finding a community of people to talk to that are like-minded, even though nobody seems to be really commenting on my videos at the moment, which is okay. Because I realize, like, these things happen in waves. Somebody may find this in a year or 2 years and connect with something I said, and I really hope that they do. I really do. Because I'm finding some people's videos from 2 years ago right now, and just having a blast and feeling very connected. So that's my hope. That's my hope. I think I should probably stop and quit while I'm ahead and leave it there. But it's really fun to get to know this community and all of the amazing people that are a part of it. I love all of the variety of different backgrounds and, cultures and overlays of different, spiritual traditions and religions and backgrounds that come with it. It's just so rich and really exciting, and actually really more diverse than you would think in so many ways. So thanks to anyone who's watching this, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful year ahead, or a week ahead, or even a day ahead. Okay. Thank you. Bye.